Dr. Phil McGraw had been doing this for 30 years. 30 years of DNA reveals, paternity tests, family reunions, and heartbreaking separations. He'd seen every variation of human drama that genetics could create. Fathers discovering children they never knew existed. Siblings separated at birth finding each other across decades. Adoptees searching for biological parents who'd given them up 40 years ago. He thought he'd seen everything. But that day proved him wrong. The woman sitting across from him was named Jennifer. 47 years old. She'd requested the DNA test 6 months ago through the show's resources. Standard procedure. The show helped hundreds of people every year track down biological relatives, fill in family trees, answer questions that had haunted them their entire lives. Jennifer's case seemed straightforward. She'd been adopted as an infant. Had wonderful adoptive parents who'd loved her completely. But as she got older, as she had her own children, the questions grew louder. Who did she look like? Where did her green eyes come from? Did she have siblings? Medical history? The adoption agency had given her what little they had. A file. Thin. Barely 10 pages. Her biological mother's name, Rachel Morrison. Age at birth, 19. Last known location, Oklahoma. Status, deceased, 1993. The father's information was even more sparse. Name, unknown. Age, unknown. Status, unknown. That's what had brought Jennifer to Dr. Phil. She wanted to find her biological father. Or at least learn his name. Give her children some sense of where half their DNA came from. The show had helped her submit her DNA to multiple databases. Cast a wide net. See what came back, and something had come back. A match. Close enough to be significant. Close enough to be a parent or sibling. The lab had sent the results directly to Dr. Phil's team. They'd reviewed it. Verified it. Prepared the reveal. The audience had filed in that morning expecting another heartwarming reunion. Another tearful moment when someone learned they had family they'd never known about. The producers had done their job. Built anticipation. Prepared the guest. Everything was set. Dr. Phil held the envelope. The DNA results. He'd done this hundreds of times. Knew how to build the moment. How to let the suspense breathe. How to make the reveal meaningful. Jennifer, he said, his voice carrying that familiar blend of authority and compassion. You've been searching for your biological father for most of your adult life. You've hit dead ends. False leads. And you came here hoping we could help you find answers. Jennifer nodded. Her hands were clasped tightly in her lap. She was nervous. Hopeful. Scared. All the emotions that came with this kind of moment. We ran your DNA through multiple databases. Dr. Phil continued. And we got a hit. A close match. Someone who shares significant genetic markers with you. The audience leaned forward. This was the moment they'd come for. Dr. Phil opened the envelope. Pulled out the report. Scanned it quickly. He'd already seen it, of course. Reviewed it with his team. But he always looked at it again before the reveal. Made sure he understood what he was about to tell someone. His eyes moved down the page. Mother, Rachel Morrison. Confirmed deceased. Then the paternal line. The match that had come back. Relation, biological father. Match percentage, 99.97%. Name unknown. Status. Dr. Phil's trained expression faltered for just a second. Something about the report felt off. The status line was blank. Usually it said living or deceased, or unable to confirm. But this was just empty. Like someone had redacted it. He looked up at Jennifer. The results confirm a paternal match. The genetic markers indicate that this person is your biological father with 97% certainty. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. Is he alive? Dr. Phil looked back at the report. That blank status line. The database lists him as unknown. Which typically means, he's alive. Jennifer interrupted. Doctor. Phil paused mid-sentence. The studio went completely silent, the way she said it. Not a question. A statement. Like she knew something he didn't. Dr. Phil's instincts kicked in. Something was happening here that wasn't in the pre-interview notes. Jennifer, he said carefully, do you know who your biological father is? Jennifer took a shaky breath. I didn't. Not until 3 days ago. Your team sent me a courtesy copy of the preliminary results. Just the match percentage and database reference number. I couldn't wait. I know I wasn't supposed to look it up myself. But I did. I used the reference number. Tracked down the DNA sample. Found out who submitted it. Dr. Phil's grip on the report tightened slightly. This wasn't protocol. Guests weren't supposed to investigate on their own. The reveals were carefully managed to ensure everyone's privacy and emotional safety. Who submitted the DNA sample, Jennifer? My adoptive father. The studio erupted in confused murmurs. The audience didn't understand. Dr. Phil's face showed the first genuine shock of his 30-year career. Your adoptive father submitted his DNA to the database? Yes. 2 years ago. He didn't tell me. Didn't tell anyone. But when I tracked the reference number, it led back to him. And when I confronted him 3 days ago, he told me the truth. Off camera, Dr. Phil made a choice no producer expected. He set the report down. Slowly. Deliberately. Then he turned to the producers standing just off stage. Stop the cameras. The red recording light stayed on. One of the producers shook his head. They were live to tape. Stopping meant starting over. Losing the moment. Dr. Phil's voice was firmer. I said stop the cameras. Now. The lights went off. The studio fell into confused silence. Audience members looked at each other. What was happening? This never happened on Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil stood up. Walked over to Jennifer. Crouched down beside her chair so they were eye level. His microphone was still on, but he spoke quietly. Jennifer, are you telling me that the man who adopted you as an infant is your biological father? Jennifer nodded, tears streaming down her face. He and my biological mother were together. She got pregnant. They were young. 19. His family had money. Hers didn't. His parents made him choose. Break up with her and they'd pay for college, set him up with a future. Stay with her and they'd cut him off completely. Dr. Phil's face had gone pale. 30 years of reveals. Thousands of stories. And he'd never heard this. He chose the money. Jennifer continued. Broke up with her. She had me alone. Put me up for adoption because she couldn't afford to keep me. And he felt so guilty that he and his wife, a woman he married 2 years later, they adopted a baby girl. They said it was to give an orphan a good home. Everyone thought they were being charitable. But the baby they adopted was you. Dr. Phil said quietly. Yes. He never told his wife the real reason he wanted to adopt. Never told me. Never told anyone. He's lived with this secret for 47 years. But 2 years ago, when DNA testing became so popular, he got scared. Scared I'd take a test and find out. Scared his wife would find out. So he submitted his DNA to databases under a fake email address. Flagged it as unknown. Thought if I ever searched, the match would come back inconclusive. That I'd never know. Dr. Phil stood up. Ran his hand through his hair. Turned to look at the frozen cameras. The confused audience. Then back to Jennifer. Does your mother, your adoptive mother, know? No. And Dad doesn't know that I know. I haven't told him I figured it out. I came here today thinking we were just doing a regular DNA search. That you'd tell me we found a match but couldn't locate the person. That I'd go home and keep living with this question mark. But then you said the match percentage. 99.97%. And I realized you were going to tell the truth. In front of everyone. And I couldn't let you do that to him. To our family. But what happened next is something no one in the room, or watching at home, saw coming. From the side entrance of the studio, the door opened. A man walked in. Late 60s. Distinguished looking. Wearing a suit. He walked slowly to the stage area where Dr. Phil and Jennifer were standing. The audience turned to look. Confused murmurs rippled through the crowd. Jennifer's face went white. Dead? The man, Jennifer's adoptive father, her biological father, the secret keeper, stopped a few feet away from them. His hands were shaking. I couldn't let you do this alone, he said, his voice breaking. Your mother called me after you left this morning. Said you seemed upset. I thought maybe you'd found out. And when she told me you were taping Dr. Phil today, I knew it was time. Dr. Phil gestured to the producers. Turn the cameras back on. The red lights came back. The audience sat in stunned silence. This wasn't a normal episode anymore. This was something else entirely. Dr. Phil looked at Jennifer's father. Sir, I don't even know your name. Michael Patterson. Michael, do you understand what's about to happen here? If we continue this conversation, if we go forward, your secret won't be a secret anymore. Michael nodded. I know. And it's time. 47 years is long enough to carry this. Dr. Phil gestured to the empty chair. Then sit down. Let's talk about it. Michael sat. Jennifer stood frozen. Dr. Phil gently guided her back to her seat. Then he sat down in his own chair. Picked up the DNA report. Looked at it. Then looked at Michael. You submitted your DNA to multiple databases 2 years ago, Dr. Phil said. It wasn't a question. Yes. You flagged it as unknown and used a fake email address. Yes. Because you didn't want Jennifer to find out that you're her biological father. Yes. The admission hung in the air. The audience collectively held their breath. Dr. Phil leaned forward. Why didn't you tell her? 47 years. You raised her. Loved her. Gave her everything. Why keep this secret? Michael's voice cracked. Because I was ashamed. Because I abandoned her mother. Because I chose money over love. Over responsibility. And when Rachel called me 3 months after Jennifer was born, told me she was giving her up for adoption, I thought maybe I could fix it. Not all of it. But some of it. So I convinced my wife we should adopt. Told her I wanted to give back. That it would make us better people. And we adopted Jennifer. I got my daughter back. But I never told the truth. Because the truth made me a coward. Jennifer was sobbing now. You could have told me. Any time in the last 47 years. You could have just told me. I know. And I should have. But every year that passed made it harder. Made the lie bigger. And then you got married. Had kids. Built a life. And I thought, maybe I could take this to my grave. Maybe you'd never have to know that your father was also the man who abandoned your mother. Subscribe and leave a comment, because the most powerful part of this story is still ahead. Dr. Phil set down the report. Michael, there's something else you need to know. Jennifer figured this out 3 days ago. She tracked the DNA reference number. Confronted the database records. She came here today knowing the truth. She came here to protect you. Michael looked at Jennifer, shock in his eyes. You knew? Jennifer nodded. I knew. And I was going to let Dr. Phil tell me they found a match but couldn't identify the person. I was going to protect your secret. Because you're my dad. You've always been my dad. And I wasn't going to destroy our family on television. Michael stood up. Walked over to Jennifer. Dropped to his knees in front of her chair. I am so sorry. For lying. For hiding. For making you carry this. You deserve the truth. You always deserve the truth. Jennifer pulled him into a hug. Father and daughter. Biological and adoptive. Both at once. The audience was silent. Many were crying. Dr. Phil stood. Let the moment breathe. When they separated, Dr. Phil spoke. This family has a lot of work ahead. Honest conversations. Therapy. Your wife, Jennifer's mother, deserves to know. And there will be pain. But secrets don't protect people. Truth does. Even when it hurts. Michael nodded. I'm ready. Share and subscribe. Make sure this story is never forgotten. Dr. Phil held up the DNA report one last time. This says unknown? But we know now. We all know. And that's where healing starts. The report stayed with Dr. Phil. Not framed. Just filed. A reminder that sometimes the biggest revelations aren't about finding strangers. They're about discovering the truth has been sitting across the dinner table your entire life. Jennifer and Michael entered family therapy. His wife learned the truth. It nearly destroyed their marriage. But slowly, painfully, they rebuilt. Because the foundation was love. It always had been. Just buried under 47 years of fear. And Jennifer stopped searching for her father. Because he'd been there all along.